Corey from Westland, Michigan writes, I build my own speakers and am currently using high-end ribbon drivers with top-of-the-line crossover components. We know that quality speaker wire makes a huge difference, but I'm hesitant to cut up costly wire to use just a foot or so of the internal wiring. What are your suggestions for high-quality internal speaker wire, and what do your top-end PS Audio speakers use for internal wiring? Well, we don't cut up super high-end, beautifully built cables to build our speakers. We use high-quality, oxygen-free copper, but it is standard wire with the appropriate gauge, depending on what it is. So I don't know, I'd have to ask Chris. For a tweeter, Chris is probably using, I don't know, 15 gauge, something like that. Nothing too, maybe, I don't know, 13, 14 gauge, something like that, oxygen-free copper, and it's insulated and it's on a big roll, and you know, they strip it off and cut it and tin it and do all that kind of good stuff. So when you're only dealing with lengths that big, internally, we are okay with not using that. And that may not make a lot of sense since, for example, on the back of the FR30s, we have jumpers, right? And even on the back of any of our speakers, we have little jumper cables. And they're kind of high-end. They're kind of made high-end-ish, right? And people spend a lot of money with jumper cables that connect the, you know how you have two sets of binding posts, one for the tweeter and one for the low mid-range woofer section, right? And when you have one pair of speaker cables that comes out of your amp and you plug it in, you want to jumper over with a decent thing. So here's something interesting to contemplate. And this kind of relates in a very distant way how in a recording studio you don't pay so much attention to the cabling because you have such control over every other aspect. Okay? So we'll talk about that in a sec. In a loudspeaker, when it gets voiced, everything you're doing, all those fine tweaks that Chris spends literally years doing, tweaking by hand, changing this resistor value a little bit and this capacitor value just a little bit, reworking this, retuning it, and all of that stuff is all done with the exact wire being used internally. So if there was a little degradation, you would make up for it in the crossover. You would make up for it in the way that you actually voice the loudspeaker. Does that make sense? The same example I use for a recording studio. If there's somebody playing guitar and I want to record that guitar, I'm doing it by ear. I choose the microphone and I place the microphone where it sounds right to me. Sounds right to me. That's a big differentiator, because if it needs to be a little closer and get more of the body because it's a little thin, and maybe that's because of the cable, I make up for it by moving it 2 inches, and you'd never know the difference. So when you have massive control over the building and the voicing of a loudspeaker, the microphone placement, all of that good stuff, you can voice the final product any way you want. When you are just reproducing whatever it is, that's when cables make a huge difference, because you have no other control. You have to now take whatever those cables sound like, and through synergy and synergistic matching of this and that, you get the sound that you want because it's fixed. Those are the speakers you got. Those are the electronics you have, and you're going to play this recording that's already done. So hope that makes some sense. Good luck with your speaker project.